Oh, God. All right. I'm ready this time. Two minutes into this, I'm already running the sink.
Of course.
I gotta rinse my coffee cup out so I can pour new coffee in it.
Why?
So I can drink it.
Just pour the coffee on the old coffee.
That's yesterday's old coffee.
Oh, okay, yeah, probably don't do that then.
Yeah, it smells like penicillin. The cup actually smells like it's stained with penicillin.
Huh. I don't know what penicillin smells like.
I've never smelled penicillin. I make a lot of guesses. It's moldy.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I know that much from the history books.
I know that from science books.
I guess that's where the history of penicillin usually shows up. But sure.
That's true. It's kind of in both places.
Yeah.
Weird.
You could get really fucked in Jeopardy expecting one and getting the other.
Yeah. I don't know. That's interesting, though, because I was having that thought when I was watching, what's his name? Bill Wirtz, The History of the Entire World, I guess.
That 30-minute masterpiece that was made in MS Paint.
And exactly. And it starts with science. All the shit that you learn in science up until, society starts happening. And then it's history. I'm like, huh. Science is just old history.
Wait, did you say that right?
Yep.
Okay.
I know there's newer science as well, but the science that you learn in, like, high school and shit is just old history.
That's okay, yeah, wait, in high school? I feel like we got pretty advanced in high school. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, for sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I still group that in there because that's still old ass science.
Yeah, that's history. We've known that for a long time.
Yeah. It's what they've been teaching since the dawn of time.
We're a great resource for information. And we definitely passed all of our education.
Yeah, 100%. Valedictorian every year.
I was homeschooled, so there wasn't much competition. Yeah, we were only like 1 month into the pandemic before somebody named their kid Corona. That could have been beer related, though.
Yeah?
I don't know if her middle name was Virus or not.
Now that would be hilarious and also awful. And also, I don't think you could legally name your child that.
You can legally name your child anything.
That's not true.
What's okay? I mean, who's been? I think I've heard some of these cases, people getting overturned or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that are like, this is obviously going to be a problem in the future.
Yeah, like you should be able to name your kid
that.
Bomb or Fire because those are cool words, but then you couldn't even address them on a plane.
Like, I'm pretty sure that Adolf is illegal.
Adolf is not illegal. It'd be a weird American name to pick.
Definitely.
Just because of the history.
And also, it's just a real shit name.
I mean, you go by Addie.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you be named something that's not Adolf?
What do you think Dolph Lundgren's full name is?
Dolph.
Okay.
Dolphin. His name is Dolphin.
It's probably Dolphin.
And actually, Adolf's full name was Adolphus. So there you go.
Is that true?
Yeah.
You've been reading Mein Kampf?
No.
Can we say Mein Kampf on YouTube without getting suppressed?
I mean, I don't think any of our stuff has been suppressed. I don't think we get enough views for that, and or our shit is too long for them to give a shit.
Do we get ads?
I mean, I don't know. Neither of us have ads on YouTube, so we can't tell.
Here's an interesting challenge. Let me go to incognito mode and see if, one, I can find one of our podcasts.
Yeah, I was about to say, good luck finding us.
And two, do we have ads?
Now, I've just been watching a lot of history stuff. I just weirdly got into a bunch of history stuff on YouTube because there's actually some really well-made things on there.
I've seen some. Definitely the Crash Course stuff is good.
I've not looked into any of that. I should do that.
Who's the, like, online historian or whatever the fuck? A fat, bearded guy?
That's so many YouTubers. Including both of us.
Yeah. There's all these fat beards on YouTube. I'm subscribed to a couple of history channels.
Oversimplified is, like, probably my favorite one. Do a lot of animation stuff. They've gone through, like, most of the wars at this point. But yeah, now I feel like I'm turning into an old man because I'm watching history stuff. But I know that if I was watching this, like, history documentaries that old people actually watch, I couldn't do it.
Why?
Way too boring.
Oh. I'm actually subscribed to the History Channel, and I do that to watch Forged in Fire.
Oh, okay.
They don't play any history content.
No, the History Channel completely changed into nonsense. And there's a couple things that I watch on there, like Pawn Stars is on there.
Yeah, if you're gonna see Pawn Stars, that's the only place to do it.
They have a couple seasons on Netflix last I checked. It's been a minute, though.
I haven't checked this. Do you still have Netflix, or are you waiting? No, you're off of your Netflix season.
Yep, off a Netflix season. For quite some time, as far as I can tell. Until I start hearing about movies or TV shows popping up on there that people are like, dude, this is amazing. And I'm like, okay, sounds okay.
I think that guy might just be called the Internet Historian. Which, good job grabbing that name.
Yeah, that rings a bell. And makes perfect sense.
Oh. That doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to go through his videos and see what I recognize. I don't think that is him.
Okay, well, whoever this person is.
This seems to be text to speech. All right. Anyway, back to the other thing I was doing. YouTube.com.
Oh wait, Internet Historian does videos about internet history.
That guy might be doing that. Where's the fucking... I don't know. Anyway, incognito mode. The Rabbi Thole podcast.
The Rabbi Thole. That's what we should call it. Legitimately. You'd be like, Rabbithole. No.
Or Rabbi Thole.
This is the Rabbi Thole podcast.
If we ever started a soul band.
Rabbi Thole. It's a Jewish soul band.
Yeah, he would be a Hasidic rabbit. So we're definitely not in the top 5 results for Rabbithole podcast.
Yeah, I think we did go up a lot from the point where I was trying to subscribe to us and couldn't find us for so long. I had to go get on the Rabbithole one and then subscribe to me so I could find myself.
Who's Mick West? He was on H3H3 a year ago. He better not be running a fucking Rabbithole podcast.
Who?
Mick West?
Don't know.
Anyway, H3H3 from a year ago comes up way before we do.
I mean, we have 7 subscribers.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and
us.
Search by channel, because I don't think we're going to find us by video. Nope, I meant to count how many far down we are. I lost count. We're not as far down as... Oops, shit. Not as far down as you think. If you just search for channels, we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9... Is it 10 or 11? 12, 13, 14. We are either the 14th or 15th video down.
Hey, the fact that we actually popped up on there at all, that's pretty spectacular.
There's Eskimo Cowboy.
Is your personal writing assistant.
Eskimo Cowboy has ads.
Confident messages.
There we go.
This is not brought to you by Grammarly.
Absolutely not.
This podcast is not even brought to you by History or Sciencely until we figure out the difference.
I think I am going to get Grammarly at some point, though.
For fucking what?
Because it's useful.
For what?
For writing purposes.
You don't send any valuable documents.
What?
Are you gonna get Grammarly for your books?
Yes, for like big writing. So I can go over it and be like, hey man, you use this word a lot, and here's some other words that mean the same thing that you can kind of slip in there. You know?
There was an AI program that one of my old coworkers showed me, where it will Hemingway your writing.
What does that mean?
So you put in a block of text, and it will give you things like your adverbs don't meet this goal, or you're using passive voice here. Change. Yeah, your phrases could be simpler. It'll suggest alternative phrasing.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, that's
HemingwayApp.com.
Interesting. Well, I will look at that.
And you just
Because
paste
I know the
your shit in there.
Grammarly thing to get all the stuff costs money of some kind.
Yeah, but you could. He used to do the training documents for the place we worked, and he would go to Hemingway app and drop stuff in there and be like, all right, Hemingway seems to think what I'm saying is clear. So.
Now, see, whenever you said Hemingway, like, I thought it was going to be...
AI that makes it way too long.
I thought it was going to be AI that takes whatever you wrote and then turns it into the way that Hemingway wrote.
No, they're just not cool like Grammarly. They don't have a staff of nerds to look at your thing.
I typed in Hemingway app, and it's like the second option, but the first one is Grammarly.
Thanks, ad support. Since you can just buy positions and search.
Oh my god, I'm searching on Bing.
How
Gross.
did that happen?
What this shit?
Bing will never sponsor this podcast.
Yeah. It's because whenever I was having a lot of computer issues back in the day, which I talked about on here, and then I had to like do a reinstall of everything, and my computer won't use Google Chrome anymore. I'll download it and install it and everything, and it just crashes immediately. So I literally can't use it on my computer. So I'm using Microsoft Edge, and it tries to go to Bing every time.
You should use one of the cool alternative ones like Brave or Onion. Well, don't use Onion. I think that's dark web.
Yeah, I don't know enough about those to feel good about using it.
Ugh,
I really want Google, but...
I think Lex Friedman uses Brave. He's a smart guy. He is a AI researcher at MIT. And he hosts a popular science podcast. Science/history.
So how's the last 2 weeks been?
It's been pretty, other than the fact that we have a new president, pretty uneventful, but we kind of saw that coming.
Yes.
Most people saw that coming. Some people did not, and those people have been getting more and more depressing. It's not affecting my Schadenfreude yet, but yeah, H3 tried to go and laugh at all the QAnon people, and they gathered up some clips, and it just actually wound up being kind of depressing and mean-spirited.
Yeah, I've been ignoring H3 podcast again just because of everything that's been happening. It's just something where I'm like, not right now. Let's wait for everything to kind of calm down a bit, and then I'll go back and listen to them talk about super gross things and just weird, hilarious things again. But now it's like, no thank you.
I've been enjoying them lately. It's mostly about regular YouTube drama.
Which is also just not my bag.
Oh, but I'm so disinterested in it. I can just leave it on while I play games.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's true.
I do kind of want Jeffree Star to get taken down somehow. I don't know why. You know what? Your approach is better. I shouldn't even know these fucking names. It's a point where I would have laughed at anybody who knew these names. But they haven't been getting crazy political. I've still been ignoring most of the podcasts that would do that. I still have not gone over to Spotify to watch a new Joe Rogan. I might, just because, as I mentioned Lex Friedman a few minutes ago, he's going on Joe Rogan again. And that's always a good interview. They buddy around about stuff like AI. And, of course, Joe Rogan has asked dumb questions like, seriously, how long is it until robots take us over? Give me the answer. This is why I keep inviting you back. You're the only person I know smart enough to answer this for me. Please tell me when the robots are going to take over. And Lex is like, that's not how it works.
Yeah, he's really paranoid about that. Like, Corridor Digital made a video about, like, a robot. Like, they made it like a Boston Dynamics parody. It even said Boss Town Dynamics on the fucking screen. And Joe Rogan thought it was real.
I think I was watching when they were doing that on his podcast, and I was like, those motions don't look real. They don't look robotic either. They look rotoscoped.
Yep, because they were. They were rotoscoped, motion captured, and also just built digitally. Depends on the shot.
Old people can't spot rotoscope. I can spot 3D modelings really easy. Like it's hurt there were some movies. They're getting a lot better at set extension now than they were. What was the movie The End of the World? Chris McBride or Mike, or whoever, James Franco. Skinny kid Scott Pilgrim getting his asshole eaten and all that shit.
Oh.
Danny McBride. Keep getting the wrong McBride. I didn't get anyone's name right.
This is the end.
Yes. So that I didn't watch that movie, but their behind the scenes showed a lot of set extensions that people were very surprised by. That was kind of like the early heyday of like super easy set extension work with 3D buildings and shit and fake places. It just kind of got worse.
That movie didn't feel to me like it. That movie just feels like a set to me, like every time.
I'm really good at spotting set extensions and fakes and fake things like that. I'm not talking about just in sci-fi. I'm talking about like, they needed just a couple more feet of wall there for some reason. I almost always spot that, but old people will never spot that.
Yeah.
They're not trained.
It's a weird thing. Like, because some of this shit is, like, insanely obvious when you look at it. Like, that's just not... It's not there. and then, yeah, older people are like, mind blown.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they used to have paint by numbers, and that was, like, the most advanced CG that they had. So.
Yeah. There's some crazy things back then.
I didn't have any personal life events. I still haven't gotten the stimulus. I got new shoes. That's it.
Dude, I got new shoes too.
My mommy got me shoes for Christmas, and they were too small. So I had to go to Kohl's and return them. And then they charged me a repackaging fee. And then I didn't have enough money for shoes at Kohl's. And Kohl's didn't really have shoes that would fit me anyway. But I found a place called Shoe Depot. Or department, I'm not sure, on the way out. And I was like, all right, they have a Christmas sale and a clearance sale at the same time, and a red dot sale.
Whoa.
I found a pair of Skechers on triple sale for $40.
Dude, I bought Skechers off Amazon for $40.
Oh my God, are they Skechers Performance?
They're like work shoes, anti-slip situation stuff. So maybe? I don't know.
The identifying mark on mine is on the side. It says ultra light.
Mine are in the other room, and I don't want to go get them. But they're pretty dope. I like them. They're super light and they're good to stand in. So
air-cooled Goga Matte soles.
Yep, that's what I got.
Dude, the fucking foam insole, like just like it's somewhat. The foam insole market's gone pretty insane. I think like 6 years ago we were having this discussion about like just getting softer shoes for standing, and I was like, I'm not gonna spend that kind of money. Now it's fucking cheap. Shoes are nice now.
Right? I was kind of disappointed though because it's not the memory foam that I like. I like the thicker, softer stuff that's like that leaves a foot imprint in it.
That's sweaty.
I mean, I guess, but that stuff was the really soft stuff. This works, though. It gets the job done. I haven't done too much standing in it yet, though.
This does have a good spring back. It is a little firmer, but I just walk the dog, and I walk the dog in grass, so not like I need a lot.
Yeah, that's fair. Get yourself some Crocs.
I ain't wearing no Crocs.
Crocs. And then you can get them, and you can put little spikes in the holes.
The gibbets.
Gibbet?
All right, man. I know for sure I've told you about gibbets. It's the official accessory of Crocs. You can get gibbets for everything. You can get entire Marvel gibbets. You can have a marveled out Croc. They're just little pegs with the action figures on top. And you put them in your Croc holes.
Yeah, I know we've talked about the things that go into Crocs. I don't remember them being called gibbets, though.
I'm trying to spread the word, and it's ineffective because people, I don't know, it just seems like I tell people multiple times about gibbets, and it's such an uninteresting subject that they keep forgetting.
Yeah, that's probably true. I mean, I just saw some goth Crocs on Reddit that I thought were hilarious, where they have, like, the spiked stud gibbets, I guess, like, stuck in the holes, and with, like, a fucking chain on it and shit, and I thought it was hilarious.
I just typed in goth Crocs. I'm not super disappointed. I am disappoined that there's an Etsy store selling custom goth Crocs for $130.
Jesus Christ! I wouldn't pay more than $5 for a shoe made of foam.
Crocs are like $50 now. What the fuck?
That's crazy.
$45 at Walmart.
I guess fashion has $45 at Walmart. I've not seen a $45 shoe at Walmart that isn't like a work boot or hiking boots.
Okay, they do have the Crocs Classic Clog for $45 on Crocs.com.
That's madness. But I guess fashion has gone in a weird direction in these past 5 years where it's like, dude, fanny packs are cool again. It's like, no, they're still not cool. No, thank you.
Yeah, people tried.
They make sense, but no, thank you. No, I mean, people are still doing it. People are still loving that shit. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? This must have been what it was like for our parents looking at shit in the 90s. Like, what the fuck? Madness.
I wouldn't mind getting some decked out Crocs now that I'm looking at them. Because some of the ones people have decorated really, really well are nice. And if I was doing like a nerd event, like if I was going to like the video game art exhibit when that pops up or something like that, just having some nerded out Crocs would be like easy swag to pull off.
I mean, I guess. I do like things that you can accessorize easily. Like, that's why I like little pins and shit. You can just stick them on things. But I think Crocs is just a thing where it's like, I think that's just a little too far for me.
Yeah, I don't do stuff like that because I'm not flashy. I don't really wear pins, but I like it on other people.
Yeah, I got some stuff, I suppose. So, DaVinci Resolve. You know, I started using that like a couple weeks ago. And it's a fucking pain in the ass on my computer.
Bro, you should call me. I've been helping my sister do her own podcast with DaVinci. Or you mean the resources, because it is a bitch hungry program. Okay.
The resources. Like, yesterday, my fucking hard drive that it's on and everything was just like, oh, you're at zero left. You have no space left on this thing. I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I cleaned it and everything. It's like, okay, you got 40. And I'm like, all right, that's good. And then I woke up this morning and it was 0 again. I was like, what the fuck is causing this? So I jumped into a bunch of forums trying to figure everything out. There's possibility of like malware, blah, blah, blah. Checks for all that. Everything's fine. And I'm like, my computer is screaming pretty loud when DaVinci is on. So I went and found the media cache for that and just deleted all of it. It was 338 gigabytes.
That sadly makes sense.
Of just the fucking media cache after I've used it for very few things over the last 2 weeks. It was like 338 gigabytes.
Now that's too much for 2 weeks, but if you go check your Adobe media cache, it's pretty fucking... I used to have to clean that out of my computer all the time. Just when we used to go do I Don't Eat Apples and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, I just... With Adobe and stuff, it was never that big of an issue. Like once I found out it was a thing, I would just clear it out every few weeks, and it was fine. But this thing was like, that was nuts.
Yeah, I don't think that you've had 386 gigabytes worth of shit, probably.
Yeah, I mean, one of the main issues might be because my computer is an older computer, it makes stuff lag a lot whenever in playback. So I have to generate optimized media to get it to play properly, which I just looked at that, and that was because I just did that again, and it took 20 gigs for that, which is crazy.
I have no idea how that works. I guess it's pre-rendering it.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's pre-rendering something that is 1080p. Like, it should not be that much.
I wonder what codec it has to use to play back inside of an editor pre-rendered and still be cuttable.
Yeah, I don't know.
Does it change once you cut it, or is everything still like fast?
It never quite is perfect. No matter what, it still drops frames and shit, which is frustrating. But it seems to be like a lot better going through it and everything. As long as I don't click on that little tab where it's like, this is the color tab, don't touch anything, or your computer will explode.
That's my favorite tab.
I'm annoyed to find out that to take like a screenshot like was super easy in Adobe because they had the little camera there and you click it and it's good. You have to go to the color tab and then do a bunch like right click stuff and go to like saving. It's difficult. It's weirdly difficult for something that should be very easy.
I've never done it in Dissolve.
Yeah. Had to look up a lot of tutorials. Which, you know, at this point, I think I pretty much got it. I think I could possibly even do animation in this. It really depends on how much it wants to lag out and kill itself.
Are you going to learn
yeah.
DaVinci Fusion or whatever their thing is?
I don't think I would go that deep into it. Like, I've already done some Fusion stuff, like creating a time code thing, or a timer, you know? So I know how to do that in there. So I've looked at a little bit of it, but then there's a lot of these effects and stuff where I'm just like, okay, just weird transitions and shit. I know I'm never going to go to the color section, but I am curious about the audio section. The Fairlight thing.
I was about to say, that's a good one. They bought the Fairlight company after Fairlight became popular as a free plugin. And they were just like, nope, you're part of Resolve now.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have fun when I get to that point. And hopefully it'll be easier to figure out than some other things.
Like Reaper.
Yeah, I've also been doing that recently. And it was also annoying to figure out. And trying to find VSTs that are good and won't give me a virus of some kind.
Oh, you just gotta brave that. You just gotta click it. You just gotta click it and pray.
Well, I actually found a company that has there's a company called Arcade, like it's a program called Arcade, that is like a $10 subscription thing per month or whatever that I might do. I'm doing the free trial right now, and they have just a shit ton of VSTs, and it works directly in Reaper, and it's just stuff that you can use whenever you're subscribed for
cool.
plugins and all that. So I'm going to look more into that tomorrow. But I already downloaded it and everything and fucked around with it last weekend for a while. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to playing with that a bit. And maybe next podcast I can see if it might be something you're interested in.
Reaper or Arcade?
Arcade.
If I had $10 a month right now, I'd jump right on it. I gave you some VST companies to write down one time. I think DSK was one of them. They've got some orchestral things on there.
Dude, I was looking at that note the other day. Like, I have a Post-it note sitting here that says DSK on it. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
They've got a bunch of relatively usable free instruments. They're a good they're I think it's just one guy, but yeah, there's a few of them out there that are just single group people. They just make plugins and sell them, but they've got things on there like violins and shit and keyboards and 808s and digital drum machines, good pianos. Okay. But if Arcade's got good plugins and it's only $10 a month, like
yeah, there's so much here. Like hundreds of like just all kinds of shit.
Yeah, just
Pretty
go look
nuts.
at Spitfire Audio and see what one pack costs. I don't even think they're like the highest tier brand of audio packs.
Yeah, I found one thing before I found Arcade through someone on YouTube was like, this is a dope thing, and there's a link and blah blah blah. And I went and looked at it and stuff, and they had like a lot of these packs. Like some of them, they're like, oh, these ones are free, but these ones are like $40 for like one pack, and it's like, I don't know if that's good or not. I don't know what all's included, but that's way more than I'd want to spend.
I would pay I mean, if I had all the money in the world and I was doing like digital orchestra shit, I would probably pay a few $100 for a VST that lets me have an instrument to play with, not just a bunch of samples. But yeah, the BBC Symphony Orchestra at Spitfire Audio, which just has like, I think it's just a string section's $1,000 plugin.
Jesus.
Now they're really great samples and they're really great programs, but dude, here, just the chamber strings is $700. I don't know how much just their horns are. Yeah,
That's
they crazy. They stay stupid. Contact is another program with a subscription program that's popular.
And see, I didn't even think of this as being a thing at all.
Yep, you got to have instruments, which means someone's got to go out and sample every possible sound an instrument can make and then program something that can play it back like you're playing it just because you're pressing keys. It's digital programmers and computer scientists and musicians and audio recording. They all have to go into making it. And somehow some people still have $5 packs.
I mean, I'm sure there's people out there, like just making stuff for free just for the fun of it. Like there's some stuff on YouTube that I used to use and will probably use in the future for music, for like videos and stuff. Because there's plenty of people out there that are just like, hey, I made this super awesome thing and you can totally use it no matter what. I don't care. Like, you want to get paid for it? Go for it. Just don't upload my shit in this form. And so, like, there's a couple different channels. Technoax is one that I think is the one that I use the most because he's just, like, putting out at least one song a week.
Damn.
Like, just constantly. Different genres, different everything. Like, very different sounding music. And he just gives it away for free. And hilariously, like, Jacksepticeye's theme, like, was made by this guy back in the day. It was just a free thing that he used and is now, like, there it is. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's one of the embarrassing things about, like, old YouTube is that all the big ass channels were using the first rounds of free music that was brought to YouTube, and they all had like the similar theme songs, and then you still hear once in a while I still hear a new channel using an old free song that they got off the YouTube studio, and I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Yeah,
who
I
used to use all
recognize
these.
those things all the time. I'll be watching something, I'm like, oh, I know this. I know this song. What's this song? Oh yeah, it's from the audio library. It's so funny.
Smart people will use it like a meme.
Yeah.
Channels like I Hate Everything and whatnot.
Hell yeah. There was one Ipanema Dream or some shit like that. I don't know. Something like that on there that was very useful that I always found in other people's videos that we used to use as well. It's a weird like bossa nova-y one that's just like super chill. Anyways. But yeah, so I've messed around with that stuff as well. I was messing around with my my keyboard situation and all that and trying to figure out how to make everything work and how to build like a project and all that. And then realized, well, I hate these couple VSTs that they have here. Like the drum one was complete garbage.
What drum one did you get? Is it supposed to be a real drum kit, or is it supposed to be...
It's just one that's in there already. Like it had 3 virtual instruments or whatever. I didn't get to like I have some VSTs and stuff that I was downloading off of Arcade that I haven't gotten to mess around with yet because it was a long time downloading.
Dang. I might try this arcade subscription. I ain't gonna
they
pay
got
for it, but I
the
did free
trial.
trial
Going on right now, yeah.
I'm just opening Reaper real quick to see what my drum VST of choice has been. Get out of here. I'm not gonna pay for this program. I'm still on my free trial.
But it's not free, Jeff.
Is it not free?
They
Is it
say
not?
that every time you open it.
Because if sometimes it feels like it could be free. I promise, if you're listening to me,
It's like
Reaper,
Wikipedia. They ask for money too.
Well, this is definitely less free than Wikipedia. If I ever put out a project with your tools, I'll send y'all $60.
$60 ain't a bad price, anyways. I might just pay for it to get rid of that little notification telling me it's not free.
Yeah, as long as you make less than $20,000 a year in music. Now you can make $20,000 a year elsewhere, but if you're a professional recording artist that makes more than $20,000 a year, it's $200.
Okay. I mean, I don't feel like that's how capitalism works, but sure. You can't just be like, I'm giving you this to you for free, but it's not free. I'll need $60. Unless you're making money off of this. Then I need $200.
I use MT powered drum kit, which does ask me to donate to PayPal every time I turn it on, but I just skip that window. Oh god, let's get into some fucking topics already. Jesus Christ, Zach.
Hell
Did you
yeah.
watch anything?
I watched a lot.
Alright, let's start with that.
Okay. I finished The Mandalorian Season 2.
Cool.
And I'm finally at that point that most people were like, oh, this is great. I'm finally there. Because this season, aside from one very boring episode, was excellent. Like very, very good the whole way through. Had some really cool stuff in it. And yeah.
So you feel like you've joined the party now?
Yep.
All your friends were starting to like girls, and you were like, why? They're loud. But then
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ew. And they have cooties.
you were getting up to sharpen your pencil, and someone cut you in line, and they brushed against your pants, and you know what's happening now. You get it.
What? But boys can do that too.
Yeah, I didn't say you liked girls.
Okay.
I would never accuse you of that.
Good.
And I definitely would accuse you of having your junk where one of them can bump into it.
Good.
I don't want you to
I'm
get
in
canceled.
my apartment by myself most of the time.
There's a pillow on my lap right now. Nobody's gonna brush against my dick.
Except that pillow.
This pillow better not be able to talk to anybody.
It already has.
All right, well, I'd listen to that podcast.
Well, this is your intervention.
All right.
Me and the pillow have some things to say.
I've been preparing to escape this moment forever. Bye.
Cheeks. But anyways, yeah, Mandalorian Season 2, definitely good.
Is season
Did
2
you watch anything?
Is season 2 the new one, or did season 3 just
Yeah.
wrap up?
Season 2 is the new one.
Oh, okay. I did watch the new season of Disenchantment.
You already did that? Oh, no, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, it only happened like last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nate's also watching it. I was in the garage looking over my shoulder, and I saw him watching it. I was like, oh, me and Nate should bond over this piece of
But
media.
you're not going to, right?
He had his headphones on. We couldn't bond. Yeah, it was great. We got some. We kind of got some closure onto some of the cliffhangers that happened at the end of season 2, with her. Well, shit. I don't want to spoil everything. Some things were rewarded. Some things
Okay.
that I didn't want to be there anymore finally went away. And I'm excited to see where season 4 picks up, because unlike Futurama or anything else Matt Groening might make, or something that we would expect of an adult cartoon with this, it actually has a storyline and a through line and a progression that I'm not sure where it's going to end up. I think we might wind up burning through the end of this by the end of season 5, just because this could be an episodic hero of the day comedy and that would probably honestly be more fun. But instead, we're getting these little 10-episode seasons that almost seem to be going somewhere.
Nice.
Because they either have to kill a lot of people and bring us new enemies, or they have to start just admitting that the threats are all fake. And the people that we expect should be dying are not going to die. But this show hasn't been too scared to kill people. So I'm kind of encouraged that some of the villains we've had since season 1 will finally get killed in season 4, and we'll have new things to laugh at. But there's a chance that they don't do that, and that's my big concern, is that we'll be acting like, even though these villains are genuinely menacing and annoying to deal with, they're just going to keep somehow not getting caught and not getting killed, which doesn't seem to make sense. Because, like, who chooses to be violent in this series has been completely inconsistent. The first episode, Elfo didn't know anything about violence. He walked through a battlefield completely ignorant and accidentally killed people in, like, a comical fashion. And then in the next episode, he was punching somebody in the face and apologizing for killing them. And he's had a couple of other instances of violence, and the princess has had... I mean, she started out pretty violent, but she's way less often pulling out a sword and handling shit in ways that I would expect. Like, that was kind of the cool thing about her character in the first season and a half, was that she was a princess, but she was also like a classic fighter for like a Dungeons and Dragons type story where there's an issue going on in a moment and it can be solved with violence, so she does solve it with violence. And there's been a little bit less of her doing that, and a little bit more running away and trying to get to the bottom of stuff using detective skills. And I would just like her to be more violent.
I agree.
Escalate situations quickly and release tension, and that would be cool. But it's been focusing a lot on suspense, and it's been fairly successful. But there's also a lot of situations that they've come through in this last season where I was like, if they were being as violent as is typical for their character, they would not be doing this right now. We would be onto a much better moment. So that's a critique, is that I just feel like they could have done better, which is a vague critique, but I'm overall happy. I like Disenchanted.
Nice.
And I look forward to season 4.
I look forward to one day watching it.
It's a good binge. You don't have to binge it, though.
Yeah, not super into binging anymore. Don't really have the time for it.
I'll make the time for it. I'll call into work. I'll stay up late. I'll do anything but confront my problems.
Gosh, you're so like, you're just like, not gonna let anything stand in my way.
Yeah, I'm super
It's
determined to
inspirational.
not do anything good with my time or my life. And nothing can stop me. Success will not get in the way of failure. I'm like the princess.
Yes, you are a princess, Jeff.
Thank you. So what else have you watched?
I finally watched Wonder Woman 1984.
Awesome. I'm sure that was rewarding.
I had to watch it on my laptop because it just would not play on my computer 3 weeks in a row.
That sounds miserable.
Yep. So I had to use my laptop, which is was a $200 laptop and has the worst contrast and all that stuff on the screen. So it's just like really annoying and small, and the audio is not good. You know. Yeah, it was both better and worse than I expected. There was some stuff in it. Like, the tone of this fucking movie was so, like, impossible to get into. Because they were going for something a lot more, like, happy. Like, they were going for something that was a lot... It was much campier. And it was so difficult to go from the first Wonder Woman... Wow, I can't talk. The first Wonder Woman movie
The
to
Wonder
this.
Woman, yeah.
Yeah. Because the tone was so drastically different and then inconsistent, and the pacing was just completely awful. Like, it felt like it took so long to get into the story, and then the story was just over immediately. It was also really corny and kind of dumb, but there was also some really cool stuff in it. Like, I thought visually, it was very well done. Like there was a lot of stuff in it where there was like the lighting was interesting because it made a lot of these shots just look like an Alex Ross painting, which I thought was super cool. The villain that was not Kristen Wiig was also very fun to watch. Kristen Wiig shit was super annoying and drove me up a fucking wall. And yeah,
But
overall, it was a movie.
How was Kristen Wiig? Just watching her.
The problem was that her character was super annoying. She did a good job, I guess. It's more the trope that they went for, because they were like, this is a nerdy character who's very clumsy and wears glasses, and she's literally just fucking Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Well, she can't be hot with glasses. I won't stand for it.
Oh no, she has to take the glasses off to become hot. Everybody knows that. And she has to put her hair down and walk in heels.
And then she's just Kristen Stewart, which is like, oh, no, sorry, my bad. Just Kristen Wiig. Kristen Stewart's way hotter than Kristen Wiig. Yeah, and then she's just Kristen Stewart. No, I can't get it right. There's been some subliminal thing that's slipped Kristen Stewart into my mind, some Freudian lesbian impulse.
The Kristen part.
Yeah. Or I've been a lesbian woman living in a man's body my whole life, and I can't stop thinking about Kristen Stewart.
Sure. Me too. But it's mostly like, why is she making that face? I don't know.
To be pouty.
To be something.
To be good then, of course, in that movie, American Ultra.
Yeah, that's a good movie. Written by a terrible person, but yep.
Who wrote it? Well, not later.
Max Landis.
I don't know who that is.
John Landis' son.
I don't know who John Landis is.
He's like a famous filmmaker. Like American Werewolf in London.
Oh, John Landis.
Yeah.
So I interrupted you. Go ahead.
The Kristen Wiig thing. It's like, then she actually becomes Cheetah, you know, the random Cheetah girl person. And they did like the dumbest. They're like, all right, so we're going to put, out of everything, this movie, the lighting was good, the color was good, everything was good, but then they have this really quick, really stupid battle with Cheetah where we finally see Kristen Wiig as Cheetah, but the CGI is just insanely awful, and they never like focus on her. They never give us like a full body shot of her just standing still in any way. So the whole time, it's all motion blurred, and then the one time you see like her face like not moving, they do like an ultra close up of almost just her eyes. They did not want you to look at this thing at all for any amount of time. So the CG was awful at that point, and she wouldn't stop moving, and it was also dark, and there was a blue, the shit was tinted blue. So the whole time you're like, all right, so we're finally going to see Cheetah, and then you just don't really at all, even though there's a full fight scene.
I don't know what Cheetah's canon powers are. Does she have super speed?
I mean, she's fast and strong and can jump and stuff.
She's at least fast enough to fight Wonder Woman.
Yeah, especially in this movie, because how she gets her powers is that she wishes to be like Diana, and accidentally gets Wonder Woman powers, and then later, you know, decides I want to be an apex predator, is her words, which is like, that could be anything. It was funny. The video for the pitch meeting with Ryan George for Wonder Woman 1984, she could have turned into anything. She could have turned into a killer whale. It's like, yeah, but that wouldn't have been as interesting. The dude's like, no, I think it would have been more interesting.
Actually, the hippopotamus kills the most people of any animal on the planet.
Yeah, it's not really a predator, though.
It is a predator. It hunts people.
But that's for sport, so it doesn't count.
Okay.
It doesn't eat people is the thing. It's not. It's a food source.
It also could have been an exciting Alien versus Predator crossover.
It could have been. She could have turned into a predator.
She could have turned into a pastor.
Yeah. What's the difference? It's the same picture.
I don't think anybody laughs at these pastor jokes anymore. I don't laugh
Probably
when I
not.
make them.
I mean, and saying the word pastor, I feel like is misleading. I mean, I kind of agree with it, but I think the word we're looking for is priest more than anything.
Yeah, that's probably because I grew up in the Baptist South. I don't really think of them as priests.
Yeah, most pastors creep me out as well, though. So
Yeah, they're very handsy and evangelical and give me your money-ish.
okay, I've seen the first 3 episodes of WandaVision that have come out.
Cool, I've heard a lot about them. How was it?
It is like a very, very, very weird show. It is, yeah, because just knowing where these characters started in Age of Ultron, which is weird, and then, you know, the fact that Vision died in Infinity War, he's dead, and yet he's in this show. And this is in continuity, but every episode is a different... It's an episode of, like, a sitcom from previous decades. So, like, the first episode takes place in, like, an I Love Lucy kind of situation. And then the second episode, it moves on to the 60s. The third one, they go into color because the first 2 are in black and white. And it's, like, just weird sitcom-y stuff, but there's stuff that's kind of bleeding through that's turning it into more of a horror show, because we know that they are, like, there's plenty of theories going around, like, Vision's dead, so what is this? Are we inside Wanda's brain? Because we're getting glimpses at stuff in the real world in, like, a normal ass aspect ratio with color and everything, and they're being watched by somebody that we don't know who it is at this point. So it's like a weird mystery horror thing, but it's like living in sitcom shit, which is actually really funny. The writing's actually really funny and it works really well as a sitcom. But then you just have those weird horror aspects kind of bleeding through, like, what is going on?
This sounds like something that I would like to make. I was listening to Kevin and Mark break it down a little bit. And the faux sitcom with the laugh track, laughing at the wrong times, all that
Yeah.
kind of psychological sequencing stuff, all sounds like stuff that we would do if we had time and money.
That's true. This is the kind of stuff that I love.
But I would not make any... Kevin Smith was saying that SWORD is the organization that's trying to reach through to Wanda and that she might be inside of a mission and not just coping with Vision's death.
Yeah, there was a... one of the characters had a pendant or whatever that was the SWORD logo. And she was one who, like, broke character because all these people are, like, trapped in some situation because, like, you see their... Like, they break character every once in a while and then just immediately just jump back into, like, over-the-top sitcom acting. So you get some of this, and one of them, like, Wanda mentions her brother, and then this person's like, yeah, he was killed by Ultron, right? And then she's like, what? Like, what did you say? Like, she doesn't know what's going on. And then she legitimately just, like, fucking warps her out of that reality. Like,
That sounds like a cool ass fuck moment that she can just say no and kick someone out.
yeah. And at one point she said no to something that was happening and then it rewound and played differently. Like, there's some crazy shit happening.
Yeah, I think the question that most people have is, or that some people are coming up with that's more interesting is this her dream or is she fighting inside of something else?
Exactly. We don't know yet.
And Mom has not sent me her Disney Plus password, so I will not be able to keep up with it.
I think I could probably give you my Disney Plus password. I don't know if there's like a limit on this stuff.
That's always the concern, is there a device limit?
And then today, I watched Tenet, finally.
I saw that on your gram.
Yeah. I think it's probably the most disappointing movie I've seen from Christopher Nolan. Yeah.
That's sad.
I am not sure if I liked it at all.
That's sad.
It had some really cool shit in it. Like, it was made very, very well, but legitimately, like, it's the simplest and dumbest premise that makes no sense and brings about just questions. And then to make it an interesting thing, it's just the way that he made it, essentially. And he made it overly complex for a thing that's so simple. Which is a thing that he tends to do, but it just was not satisfying when you get to the whole point of the thing. It's not satisfying when it ends. It's like, this is just 2.5 hours of, you know, some cool imagery, but overall I feel a little gypped by it, you know?
Everything was backwards. What's the point?
I mean, kind of, but not really. Like, that's more the... I hate to use the word gimmick, but it is like he wrote this story around a gimmick. Like, that's how it felt. Like, it wasn't a necessary thing, and the story doesn't work as well because of it. And the fact that... It's so hard to talk in vague terms here.
No, just go for it. I'm probably not going to see it.
Okay, you'll probably see it one day whenever we decide to watch all the Christopher Nolan movies.
I still haven't seen Inception, so whatever.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to want to watch Inception with you.
Okay.
It's a time travel situation, so immediately it's like, okay, so this is difficult in the first place. And the whole point of it is there's this thing that's invented in the future that makes it so that basically time will be reversed so that the past will be destroyed, which is such a weird fucking thing. And this guy, fucking Kenneth Branagh, is the villain. But he's trying to get all this stuff together, essentially, so that he can end the world, which is such a weird thing for a Christopher Nolan movie, because that's not his style at all. And basically the whole point of this thing is they're having to stop this thing from happening. It's like, it's so over the top, like, in how convoluted it is. They're trying to hide this thing that was hidden in a different spot so this guy can't get it in the past, which is the future at this point. So he won't be able to find it, so that he won't be able to basically end the world. And it's like, this is insanity. And they have like this crazy like battle situation where they're trying to break into this area so they can set off this bomb so that they can get rid of this thing. And simultaneously they have people, they're basically 20 minutes apart moving towards the same spot. So some people are moving backwards in time, some people are moving forwards in time, and those two groups going to meet this one place at the same time. It's nuts. It's fucking crazy for no reason, because the premise of the movie is the future wants to destroy the past because the past fucking ruined everything for the future. And it's like, yeah, but grandfather paradox. Like, immediately, if they destroy the past, the future doesn't exist. And it's like, what are you fucking on about, dude? So they're trying to destroy the past from the future, and these people are trying to stop it. Like, the premise is stupid.
Are they trying to make time implode?
Basically, yes.
Because say you kind of have to destroy time at both ends if they're doing science fiction about equal and opposite forces against time.
Yeah, that's kind of what they say is, like, the way that time moves naturally is it moves forward. And so they've been sending back these weapons. Like, this is the stuff that, like, you see in the trailer where they're, like, firing guns like shit's moving backwards and everything. That's the whole like premise, is that there are certain weapons or bullets or whatever that are made to reverse shit, and so they're trying to set it up this like algorithm thing where it's basically making everything move backwards, and that's supposed to like destroy everything. And I'm just sitting here like, why wouldn't shit just go backwards then? Like this movie is way overcomplicated for no reason, and the story is dumb. And people are right. It's so fucking impossible to understand what these people are saying unless you have subtitles on. Like, there's a scene where it's like they're just standing between two trains going by. It's like, why would you do this? Why would you have a dialogue scene here where the trains are louder than the dialogue? Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
Making realism. Yeah,
Well,
that
he
sounds
did a bad
disappointing.
Yeah. The score is amazing, I will say. They use a lot of like backwards notes and stuff and weird effects that do that kind of shit.
I like that.
Which is really cool. Visually, it's very well made. Great camera movement. Cinematography is great. It's shot on film. It's done very well. The effects are good. But the story is stupid. And it's too overcomplicated to feel like by the end of it, you can feel satisfied by it at all. There's like nothing satisfactory. It feels like stuff's just dangling. You're like, yeah, but why was this part of the movie important at all? Like, random bullshit for no reason.
Well, damn.
Yep.
Damn.
I don't know.
So, don't see it?
I mean, I don't know.
I'll probably
It's like-
see it if it comes someplace I can watch it.
Yeah, it's like the first movie in a while that I've watched that I can't say I liked. Like, it's better made than a lot of movies I've seen recently, but I don't like it.
That sucks. You can't fix that. I did figure out what else I've been watching. Games Done Quick has been doing their charity live streams last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I watched a lot of awesome games done quick, some classics, Mega Man runs and things like that. Mega Man no damage, just Buster runs. But one of the things that stood out the most to me was a Twitch streamer named Liz Star streamed a game called Mr. Bones from the Sega Saturn, which was a pseudo-platforming rhythm game with a lot of fun psychological elements of it. And it's a very unique game that I would kind of like to play, but it looks very frustrating. It had a lot of new technology for the Sega Saturn in it, and it was also just a really fun story. She did a run called an all cutscene mode, where she watches all the cutscenes because the cutscenes are pretty funny, and I would recommend that. To go watch Liz Starr do Mr. Bones for Games Done Quick.
Okay.
And donate if you're one of those people listening and you want to give money to cancer research. They raised something like $5 million streaming video games for cancer research.
Nice.
In previous years, Liz Star has done stuff like Mega Man DOS, which has been funny. Go check those out. I watched a lot that I really liked. I watched them do a Skyward Sword any percent playthrough where they did a lot of using the save slots to cheat, which was pretty cool to learn. I learned some Mega Man 1 strats, which was pretty useful. I've actually been drilling the Yellow Devil on Mega Man 1, and I can beat him now reliably. I know the pattern now. The Yellow Devil is no longer a threat. He's just scary.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, go check out that Mr. Bones Liz Star playthrough if you got like an hour. The video says it's longer than an hour, but it took her, I think, 50 minutes to beat it, and it was really fun. And then after that, there's like 40 minutes of the announcers reading donations and shit.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've watched quite a few of those. It's been a while, though. I've seen a lot of Zelda playthroughs. There was even some Breath of the Wild ones. Just speed running straight through all the Ganons and everything.
I wonder if anybody did bread percent this year.
I don't know. Bread
Maybe-
percent of what?
It's a new speed run for Breath of the Wild. Bread percent is getting playing the game as fast as you can to make your first piece of bread.
Huh.
So like,
Okay.
100% is get all the items. Any percent is just kill Ganon. Bread percent is make bread.
Yeah, I've seen some, like, there was this crazy challenge thing that I watched on Point Crow's channel. He did, like, this tournament of dog percent. He had, like, 50 different streamers and everything. Basically, you have to go visit and pet every dog. Like, obviously, it's not petting, but you have to go feed every dog at the, like, in the game, essentially, as fast as you can. And that was pretty crazy, just watching everybody's different, like, the ways that they were trying it.
That's pretty fucking cool.
And then there's, the get lucky percent, where you just spend the night with Paya just as fast as possible.
Yeah, I've seen that, and that's a good challenge.
Yeah.
GDQ this year had 3, I think, Mega Man streamers competing to beat 4 through 6 the fastest. And that was pretty interesting because they just played the game audio from whoever's winning. So it's
in a few more stages, it's true. So.
I was still in the middle of watching it and I accidentally clicked on it. Yeah, it's kind of crazy I don't know. I like racing. I don't really like racing cars, but just seeing just there's that natural anxiety, like you know who's winning and they've got like a decent 10-second lead, but you're looking at the other screens like maybe something will happen. Maybe something will happen. It's fun. GDQ's awesome, and if we ever became video game streamers, that would be my goal, is to find something that I can beat quick enough to get on GDQ. That'd be awesome.
Hell yeah. I actually have watched a lot of speedrunners.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah. Like, it's not a thing that I ever thought I'd be interested in because, like, normally it's like, this is a long-ass stream, and then you just watch people, like, fuck up one thing, and they're just, like, so angry about it. And basically, like, I just lost so much time right there. It's just a stressful situation. It's so fun to watch, though.
Probably the chillest streamers in the world are the Mario 1 streamers. And the record we just got a new record, I think, last month.
Really?
Yeah, and the guy won by a single frame. That's how tight the Mario 1 speedrun is, you know, the game's more than 30 years old, and we're getting down to... the next big challenge is to see if we can beat the game in less than 4 minutes and 55 seconds. The first dude to get to 4:54 is gonna be a legend.
But
they've been chipping away at it, but like I don't know, the last couple of years, speedrunners have only been able to shave like a second off of the run with all of their efforts. And I think they run computer simulations, and 4:54 is supposed to be the fastest humanly possible. So. With all perfect inputs, with all of the strategies we know for the game, including the glitches, we're almost to human perfection of playing Mario.
That's crazy.
I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of like Mario 1 speedruns. I've seen quite a few.
I watched a 40-minute
Mario
documentary.
Odyssey ones though.
I watched a 40-minute documentary on the history of Mario speedruns. Surprisingly fascinating content.
It really is. I think we're just getting old.
Well, video games are the best form of entertainment, so like I like watching things about them. So that's all that I watched. Next week, I'm probably not gonna watch Bubble Boy because I actually took it off of my tabs. But Ghost in the Shell, the original anime, is free to watch on YouTube. I do not know if it is subbed or dubbed. I don't know. I haven't seen Ghost in the Shell since I was like fucking really, really, really little. I don't remember it, so it's probably worth rewatching because I remember being blown away by it, and then watching the anime on Adult Swim. That was really fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I saw at least part of it when I was in like 4th grade at a friend's house, and like the only reason that we were watching it was because of like the what appeared to almost be nudity situation.
But she's a robot.
So
she doesn't
even
have
like,
real boobs.
Yeah, like it wasn't even a situation of like, oh yeah, let's watch this movie. It was just like, hey, you want to see this thing? So it's like
there's boobs in it. You gotta see. Close
yeah,
the door.
like 10 years old, of course.
Everybody take a pillow. And don't look at each other.
Nah, it it wasn't like that.
I used to go over to Keegan's house to watch Bigger, Longer, Uncut, the South Park movie, and we were like 6 or 7. We were we didn't know what
Jesus.
any of those jokes meant.
That's crazy to think that you were that young at that
His
point.
parents were bad people. But
I was like 8 when that came out.
I was probably, I mean, I don't know when it came out. I remember me and Keegan were super young.
1999.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would have been 7. All right. What's up with your music?
I only really have one to talk about. I've listened to quite a bit of music, but I've been catching up on podcasts finally. The album from 2017, The Canyon by The Used, has been like the main one I've been listening to.
I listened to that this week as well.
Really?
Yeah, my 2005 Facebook group. I was just like, I should listen to some Used. I don't think it was
yeah.
The Canyon. Continue.
But yeah, I've just been super into that album recently. It's like I've actually gone back and listened to all their albums again recently, except for Artwork and Heartwork. But yeah, their stuff is like weirdly intricate and like difficult to play via drums at least. Because like basically none of their songs have a straightforward beat. Like it's very weird, off beats and off timing that doesn't fit into any kind of like standard thing, I guess.
They're probably
But
using
yeah.
cool time signatures.
They are, and it's such a weird thing because I think of them, it's like emo, punk, pop, whatever alternative from the 2000s. So I just think of it as being really straightforward, but especially listening to this album, I was listening to the drums a lot, and I'm just like, this is like really weird time signatures. They have really weird layers, and it's just like it's a much more advanced sound for them. But then I went back to their first album and was listening to it. I'm like, the drums are like really stupid in this too. Like really just weird drum beats that are like nothing that I would have thought of at all. And I've been diving into a lot more intricate drum beats and coming up with weirder time signatures and shit recently, just trying to teach myself some of that. So I guess it's just really standing out to me more. But it's such a great album, The Canyon. It's kind of more, I would say more adult at this point, like a more mature kind of situation. And it's so diverse in the sound of it, like from song to song, but it all really fits the same tone. It's really, really well done. I think it is potentially their best album, in my opinion. At least at this point, it's my favorite album by them.
I actually just listened to their self-titled. I didn't listen to The Canyon. I know I did some Used. But onto weird time signatures. Somebody posted one of the Jeff Rosenstock songs was in 5/8, and then somebody brought up a really old thread about one of their songs, and there was a giant 134 comment thread about, is this song in 6/8 or is it in 12/8? And I think the verdict came out that the drums or the rhythm riff is 3 triplets and groups of 4s. And it came out that it might be 12/8. And then I realized I don't care and I can't count, and I don't do that when I listen to music.
Neither do I. And I play the drums.
I listen to Adam Neely talk about time signatures a lot and how to count them, and I'm just like, I just don't get it, buddy. I don't.
Yeah, I don't really get it myself. Like, but I can tell whenever shit is off.
Yeah. If I've heard something enough, I know, and it's not like really intricate chord changes. I know by gut I can play onto what they're playing, but I don't know if I've left 4/4 unless someone tells me.
I mean, I think that's really the main one that I can pick out. Okay, this is 4/4. That's kind of my limit right there, Beyond that, it's like, this is not, what you normally hear.
I could tell when
Especially-
something is being played in triplets, but I couldn't be sure it's 3/4 or not.
Yeah. I really need to figure out what the deal is with that, because if I had to guess, I would say like 3/4 would be.
It's 3/4 notes. But what does
Yeah.
that really fucking mean?
That there would be a space between a tiny space right there whenever there could be none.
Unless you wanted to do 6/8 notes.
Yeah, see, shit's weird.
I don't understand it.
I'm gonna learn that. I'm gonna write that down.
I know it is fractions, and you can't do divisibles like that, and they work out. But then hearing the difference between 6/8 and 12/8, I'm never gonna do that. Or 6/4 and 12/8.
I think it would be, yeah. I think I can understand that bit. Like you'd be playing essentially 16th notes instead of 8th notes at that point.
I think Adam Neely explained 5/8 as being like a group of 3/4 and a group of 4, or 3 groups of 4/4, and then you pick which one's going to drop a quarter note, and then it cycles over. So you're playing it over more than one bar.
Yeah.
Or you're doing a lot in one bar. But it's, yeah, no, you'd have to break it up into 4 bars. I don't know.
Yep.
I can't say that with authority. I find the topic fascinating, but it's like us talking about astrophysics. I'm just remembering things that smarter people have said.
I mean, that's learning.
It is.
That's what learning is, especially school learning.
That's all you have to do to pass school is remember how to say the things that smarter people have said.
Yep.
But there's that lack of understanding that sometimes comes up to bite people in the ass. Like, I might be able to tell you what 5/8 is, but I would not be able to say I want to make a 5/8 song and do it on just my guitar. I'd have to go into Reaper and set my timeline to 5/8.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm also that way. That's not even a thing that I would think about at all. Like trying to write a song, I wouldn't be like, I want the time signature to be this. It would be like, I'm gonna come up with a cool riff or something, and then go from there.
I'll do modes. Like I would set out a destination for a mode, but that's because I can pull up 8-Bit Music Theory's video on modes and get a list of common emotional descriptions for a mode. And then I'll
I
just
don't
be
even know
like,
what that means.
it's like your Dorian, Lydian, Mixolydian, your modified major scales.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they all feel different ways, but you can look up how
Yeah.
people have described them, and then what notes make that, and then you can just put those on a timeline and shoot for those. Try to work
That's
those in
interesting.
naturally. Yeah, they're like they're like additive to knowing your major scale. You just change the major scale a little bit, and it gets you a very different vibe.
Yeah.
So that's easy to apply. That's like applying an effect. That's like writing music with a goal.
Yeah, that feels weird to me. Like, it feels dishonest to me. Which is such a weird thing, because it doesn't make sense that it would, but, like, I'm still kind of like, music in its purest form just feels like it should be more raw than that. Like, sitting there and being like, I want to write a sad song, so let me do the computations here and do what would make a sad song.
Yeah, play
It
minor
just feels-
chords.
Yeah, it feels weird to me that would be a thing.
It's true though, and they figured it out. And if I was scoring a film and not just like goofing around on the guitar in my apartment, then
Yeah.
that would be the first place I would go. Is like let's go and see what some stuff has been done, so I can actually do some clever writing, just like I do with writing with words.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel like pop songs are written. Like, that's gotta be it. Like, the musicians, the studio musicians and shit that know this stuff, it's like, oh yeah, you're gonna want something like this.
Yes,
This is the thing.
the more talented people are helping the weak ones all the time. Rick
Oh, yeah.
Beato had a discussion with a producer recently that was titled "Is Music Just a Celebrity in a Laptop?" And I didn't watch it, but I agree with that notion. But producers already had the beats. People just make beats, and or if they have something that's a goal, they know exactly what mode or 3 chords to rip off of something else to do.
Yep.
And it's not cool like trap or rap music is, where there's an internal dialogue with the community and they're all like doing something for the moment. It's like people like Taylor Swift and shitheads like that are just doing this like vapid form of music that has no connection to a songwriter or an artist, and that feels fucking gross.
Yep. Exactly.
Not that anybody asked for my opinion, but you're on my podcast, so deal with it.
So you are literally asking for our opinions.
Exactly. And if you storm the Capitol, get arrested.
Yep, 100%. That includes Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, and so many other dickheads that made it happen.
Yeah, some of the elected officials are still being spooky, and that's not something I want to feel.
Oh, yeah. It is ridiculous to me that these people are trying to take their guns into the fucking Congress and shit.
I expected them to do that when they got elected, the ones who were running on guns, because that's one of the big things that pushes people to become a Republicans is the Second Amendment. And then if you watch Fox News, they've been telling you for at least 20 years
they're trying to take your guns.
Yes, and nobody has tried to take your fucking guns.
Yeah, it never happened.
Come off it, and they don't want them. The only reason why they might want them is because people are, patrolling Capitol buildings with rifles, and that's going to make us want to take some guns. And
plus, they just want to borrow them.
Just standing in places to be spooky should be counted as intimidation. I support people's right to demonstrate, but some of y'all need to pick a less creepy way to demonstrate. What are you really trying to prove? That you can stand in public and look at police while holding a rifle and somehow not get shot? You've proven it. Please stop.
Yeah, it's such a weird. There's like such a disconnect from reality with these people, but I guess their reality is just different. Hopefully not at this point. Hopefully, if people are being fucking dumbasses and they are carrying weapons, the police might actually do something this time.
Well, you would hope that the people responsible for distributing this information will stop feeling like it's harmless, because it's clearly harmful.
Well, they're still doing it. It's nuts. It's crazy how stupid it's gotten. Like afterwards, it's been like 2 weeks, and already it's like I don't understand it. Like people just legitimately no integrity, nothing.
Yeah.
Some of these people are just the worst fucking people. And I hate that they ever got into office of any kind. And I hate that, Fox News and such are sitting here telling Republicans that these people are good for them in any way, because they're just not.
No, they're lying to you. They're lying, and if you felt betrayed by Q, then guess what? There's a few more people you should be asking questions to.
Yeah.
Because they're doing the same things that Q guy was doing. And I'm surprised that the guy who runs 8kun is not just coming out and saying, hey, I was Q the whole time and I'm sorry. Probably because he doesn't want to die.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, but you should look at that. The fact that you go to the 5th page of Google before you take any news source seriously does not mean that you do more research than the news. It means that you've gone out of your way to get misinformation. You're not smart. You're not special. We love you. Please come back to Thanksgiving and talk about sports or something. Give up the rabbit hole bullshit. Put it away.
Wait, not all the rabbit hole. This rabbit hole bullshit.
The only important rabbit hole podcast is on page 5 of Google. The truth doesn't start until page 5 of Google. That's how paid search rankings work. Anything on the first page of Google is what the pico-liberal media wants you to believe. Globalism stops on page 4. The truth starts on page 5. And that's where you can find the rabbit hole podcast that matters. The one that's kind of insulting you, but also being a little compassionate, man. We're more pissed at the people who are doing this to you.
Yep.
And I wasn't super happy with the latest Genshin Impact content. But what else did you listen to?
The book, The Queen's Gambit. I finished that. They're a good book. They're a good book. Crazy that it can keep my attention whenever it's literally just talking. It's like, all right, so I'm going to tell you everything that happens in this chess game. This piece was moved to this location. It's like, cool, I don't know where that is, but keep telling me.
It's just battleships.
Yeah.
It's
But
just
there's like a
battleships,
whole-
but you can see the other side.
Yeah, so that you have to like plan shit. Yeah, it's a really good book. So that's cool. And then there's like, I've played chess like for years, but I'm starting to believe that there's a different part of chess that I didn't know existed at some point. Where, because it referenced like making more queens or whatever.
Yeah, the pawn reaches the other side of the table and becomes a queen.
And see, I never knew that. I had no clue. That was always a checkers thing to me. Everybody I ever played with, which was not a small amount of people, like, I guess pawns must have been taken out before it reached that point, because
Most of the
I
time.
had never heard of that.
I think they could be a queen or a rook, but I think most people pick queen. Or a rook was a house rule. I don't know why you would want to make a rook instead of a queen, but sure.
Yeah. That was crazy. I had no idea. I haven't played chess in a long time.
It's hard to get a pawn all the way to the other side of the board. The board
Yeah.
starts with pieces there.
Yep, I think that's why I just never knew. Because pawns are kind of like, you move one space except on your first turn. You move one space and you only go forward, basically.
I always
Right.
bring my knights out first. Yeah, pawns can only move diagonal if they're attacking.
Yeah. But they can't move left and right, right?
Nope, only forward.
Yeah,
They march,
So
they're
I-
pawns.
that makes sense. That it would, you'd get some kind of award for getting to the end with a pawn. Yeah, that's interesting.
I usually move my knights out first. I don't know. I just because it felt cool. And they're the only thing that can jump over a pawn. Everything else has
Yeah.
to go through it.
I think that's normally my first move as well.
Just to show the other person I know how to use a knight and the game's on.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna move a pawn? Watch this. L
What-
shape.
What you know about Tetris, son? It's on the board right now.
Tetris?
I got an L-shaped piece, bitch.
Oh.
I'm gonna need 2 squares to fix this problem, but it's out there.
Hell yeah. Love Tetris too. But yeah, so that's kind of what I listened to. Queen's Gambit's a good book though. Not gonna watch the show though, because it's a show. If it was a movie, I would have watched it. I don't know how they can make a full show out of it, really. I mean, and it jumps a lot of time, so it's crazy. Because it starts with the girl is fucking 8 years old, and it goes up to her being 20-something.
I listened to a band called Paerish, Paerish, because it was a Googled sponsored or Facebook sponsored content for some reason, and they sounded okay, and then I couldn't find any. Or it was Taiwan Dummy put up a video on Facebook and promoted it, and they sounded okay, and then I couldn't find any record, and then I found some records on YouTube Music, which I hated being on, but I was at work, so it was super quiet. I don't really have an opinion on it, but. It did lead me back into listening to Roswell Kid.
Oh, your
which-
favorite.
Yeah, it's
One of your favorites.
Yeah, for modern power pop, I definitely recommend Roswell Kid. I listened to the Roswell Kid LP, has some of their classic Arrested Development on it, songs about Saturn sedans, things like that. It's good stuff. I feel like Unmacho might still be their best record. I learned to appreciate Precious Art more and more. Mostly for Wendy's Trash Can. I really like that song. It's very them. It's very, if there were a couple of songs I'd pick, I'd probably take Sick Jacket off of Too Shabby, Van Man off of Unmacho, and Wendy's Trash Can off of Precious Art. But they have other great songs on Precious Art, like Michael Keaton, which, and Mad TV, just total 90s love ejaculation on a lot of their records. Just living in the past, those guys. Living
Hell yeah.
in the past. And if I could figure out which Weezer records I'm supposed to listen to, I might do those this week. But it's hard to sit down and listen to albums seriously because I'm either playing a video game while I'm listening to a podcast, or I'm at work and the music is really quiet and I'm not super listening to it.
Yeah, I'm either listening to it at work or on the way home from work. That's kind of the only times I listen to music. But, since I'm at work for 9 hours a day, that's quite a lot of music I can listen to, if that's what I'm feeling.
Yeah, since we've last spoke, I think Script Notes had Batman versus Beowulf was something I talked about last time. But they've done Philosophy for Screenwriters, which is what I've actually listened to, How to Approach Dramatic Questions, which they didn't stay on the topic very long, which is becoming a big pet peeve of mine listening to Script Notes, is that there's 20 minutes of follow-up, 10 minutes on the key topic, and then 20 minutes of other shit. And then one cool thing, which is the one cool thing. But I'm looking forward to their new episode that they released on the 19th called Time Lords, where they're going to specifically look at time dilation on the screen, which is one of my favorite topics for writing in itself. How long we spend certain places and why, and how to make those moments feel the appropriate length for what we're doing. And that is something that even the best screenwriters fuck up.
Yeah, that was one of my problems with Tenet, because there's this thing that that is in movies that gets pointed out by CinemaSins a lot, where it's like people are having a conversation, but like every other sentence they're in a completely new location. And they did that so much in Tenet that it was like, bro, do you know how long this conversation must have taken? Like, they do one sentence here, and then the next one they're on like a bus or whatever and say a sentence,
No,
and then
I
they're
don't
in
like
a different
that.
location. I know, me either. I'm like, so one of them said something, and then they waited till they got to the next location, and then somebody else said something.
I used to scream at the TV when that would happen because that's such a TV-ass thing to do.
Yeah.
And that's because it's easier in television because they'll put that stuff in. They'll plan, hey, this is TV. We're not going to pick up all the shots that we need. Maybe these two conversations run over these two scenes. Let's just have them do the beginnings and ends of these conversations, and then we'll smash cut if we have to. And then they smash cut all the fucking time. And I prefer a conversation to keep all of its subtext within the scene. And if we go to the next scene should have a transition. If it is a smash cut, it should reveal something. It should either answer a question or double down on a question from the last scene, not be more dialogue. I don't like that.
Like, it's such a... It feels so lazy to do that. It's like, you couldn't come up with something better and or didn't trust your actors enough to keep us interested in the scene that you had to just be like, we'll just put this whole long conversation over a bunch of different locations.
Because that looks expensive, and it is more expensive. It's more expensive to do that, and it's not good.
Yeah, I don't know why people don't understand. You know what's really enticing to watch? Like, if you look at Breaking Bad, where it's like, let's just watch Walt and Jesse talk for 10 minutes. They're just in a booth. You're getting some interesting shots of the location, and they're just talking, and you're just entranced in these people talking. It's like, why can't you just do that? Do you feel like we're stopping the movie here? Like, we're not progressing in any way? You're not progressing in any way if they're just changing locations throughout a conversation.
And those scenes still have threats. They still go there to accomplish something. They're not just changing information all the time. A lot of times they're changing an object. We know that something is approaching. There's subtext about their relationship, or these conversations are taking places in dangerous places, and there's a ticking time element, and there's their whole scenes, and you don't have to change location. Just changing a location mid-conversation, unless you have crafted a punchline around it, there's nothing. It's bad, and it's expensive, and it's distracting. Yeah, exactly. It's a jump cut.
Yeah, and they did that way. It's like, that is not like, Christopher Nolan has done that a little bit, like every once in a while, but it was insane in this movie. And I feel like it's because he thought, well, this movie is about time travel and stuff, so it doesn't really matter. It can be used this way. I feel like he him being the way he is, I don't feel like he thought of it as a way to cut corners, but like, no, this fits. This is how a thing that we should do in this movie. And it's like, nah, bro, it's just a bad choice. It just looks lazy.
He might be so powerful that he doesn't second guess his smart ass 15-year-old. Because he probably was the smartest 15-year-old behind the pen, but he's probably not. He's probably not second guessing certain stuff anymore. So the idea that this fits the essence of the thing, so it's okay. Yeah. Like, you actually have to defend that point when people are disagreeing with you. But I don't think people disagree with Christopher Nolan anymore.
That's true. I disagree with what he did with this.
What a stupid loser goon, and his career is awful, and he's poor.
Well, that's just not true at all.
Oh, okay. He'll probably get another movie then.
Yeah,
maybe.
Probably.
It kind of wasn't his fault that this one bombed. There was, the pandemic. But.
Nah, but even, like, reviews for this one are, like, hot and cold. Like, you don't really... It's one of his lower rated movies. It's still rated well, but it's one of the lower ones.
Even Kevin Smith was like, I get the reverse footage thing is cool, but... Or some of the things that apparently happen in the film is that they're being reversed in real time by actors and performance while other things are going forward. And Kevin Smith was like, I can do that in Final Cut. You don't need to spend money on that. You spend your money other places.
I mean, that's true, but like it was like expertly done. Like there's legitimate like choreography where one of the characters like they're actually fighting and like one of them is moving forward and one of them is moving backwards in time, and it's just like it's crazy to watch because you can see like they legitimately had to choreograph this thing. Like this isn't like sure there's some effects trickery in there, but this is nuts right here.
He is kind of a set piece god, and I would look forward to that.
Yep. Still a bad movie though.
So did you play any games?
I've played some more Genshin Impact, but I haven't like progressed in any way. I'm just kind of like it's telling me that my adventure rank needs to be 10 before I can move on to whatever the fuck, and I'm just like haven't been paying attention on how the adventure rank goes up besides like opening chests and stuff. So I just went running out into the wild and started encountering bad guys that are like level 30 that I can't really do anything to. Specifically, like I found some of these like combat challenge things where it's like you gotta kill all these enemies or whatever. And those weird fire flower things are just, I cannot beat them for some reason. I'm guessing I need a character that specializes in water or something, which I don't have. So that was frustrating because like I would do some damage and then they would dive underground and come back with full health, and it's like, well, this is dumb.
Well, they have a shield that's mostly affected by water. They take a lot of damage from Lisa, especially if they're on fire, because she'll get overcharged and blow them up.
Yeah, that's how I dealt with a lot of those things. But the fire flower dudes, they just kept jumping underground and healing.
So their shield should come back fully recharged if they go underground and come back up. Their health shouldn't too much. But you can do, I think you could do pretty good damage to their shield with Kea because he's got ice. It's not as good as water.
Yeah, it wasn't doing a lot. Like, he just got fucked up hardcore from those things.
I have Barbara, so I'm set on the water thing. But the best ways to get adventure rank up, opening chests does it. I think finding all the waypoints on the map is a lot of adventure rank.
Yeah, I found some of those, but it was like there are enemies that are like level 30 that just start chasing me. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't really want to go in those areas.
Quests do quite a bit. Big bosses, like if you go to your adventure handbook and go see what counts as as enemies, it'll list the bosses in there.
Oh yeah, I fought one boss type thing. I'm assuming it was a boss. It was like there was this wind thing. It was like a ball that was like, I don't know. It was a weird big floaty thing that kept attacking me, and I killed it.
The Eye of the Storm.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, those I don't think they count as a. I'm not sure if they count as a proper boss. They should. They're hard enough. They're big damage enemies.
It was the first boss-like thing I've run into besides that dragon thing at the beginning in the tutorial.
There's 2 hypostasises in Mondstadt, and they freaked me out the first time I saw them. The Animo hypostasis, the one made of wind, was the one that is, I think, the one I found first. It's like near Duapa Gorge. It's in Stormbearer Mountains. If you went, it's actually right near the starting area. If you could climb in the starting area, but if you go out of Mondstadt, which is going eastward, and you just went straight north, you would eventually find it. It's hyper-stable elements made out of cubes. Shit looks like it's some kind of computer glitch. And that dude chased me and surprised the shit out of me. He's stuck in an arena.
These villains are fast.
The hypostasis is stuck in an arena, but he's right next to the edge of the world, and I tried to flee him going north. So I wound up getting stuck, and this dude would hit me, and I would go out of bounds, and Paimon would be like, we'll explore the area ahead of us later, and auto-walk me back into him, and I got stuck in that loop. And got my ass kicked. But those do the most.
I found one, I found an arena-type place that was just, like, empty. I was really expecting some kind of ambush or something, but it was just kind of like a weird round hole in the ground, like, not very deep hole, but like, with rocks or whatever. It was weird. Nothing happened. I figured out that there's a point, like, you can't feed these characters a whole lot like you can with Link in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, that sucks.
I love it. Whenever, because I was trying to fight a group of enemies, and I just kept having to feed her food, and then it was just like, now she's full. She can't eat anymore. I was like, you know what? I love that. I like that there's a limit to that.
It's pretty funny.
It just makes sense.
I tried to... there's been some times where my healer was dead, because there's not very many characters in the game that can heal. Barbara can heal, and she died, and I was like, I'm really over my ass here. And then she was full, and I was like, she's been eating hash browns. How full can she get on hash browns? This is stupid and childish.
And potatoes are really filling.
That's
It's
true.
a dense food.
It sounds like the thing that you were in was probably in Wolvendom. It was probably the Dominator of Wolves fight. There could have been a sword in there, and if you tried to pull on the sword, you might not be able to activate it at your rank. I don't think you can activate them until you're a later rank.
Yeah, I'm still ranked 8.
That's probably my favorite boss fight in the game. And you need 60 fragile resin to collect his treasure. But it's a 2-story tall,
I don't even know what that is.
Anime style Arctic wolf, and blurs out the background around you. He uses nothing but ice attacks, and he'll do this super speed thing where he runs away from you and runs around you in a blur and just like summons constellations and darkness around you. It's just a great anime fight. It's a pretty tough one too. Yeah, that's my favorite.
Now I feel like I'm going to be disappointed when I see it because you've explained it so cool.
You're going to be disappointed when you die because you don't have any fire characters. But Lisa will do some
Amber's
good
a fire character, right?
That's true. She is a fire character. I forget about her. I loved Amber, and then I went and, because I was playing Genshin Impact, Google kept giving me articles about Genshin Impact, and everyone was making tier lists and putting Amber at the bottom. And I was like, really? I don't even have any new characters yet, so Amber's so cool. And she is cool.
I like her aesthetic, and I like the weird plushy bomb thing. I think that's
Baron
funny.
Von Bunny.
Yes, I love it. I want one. But I don't know. I think she is kind of the one that I use the least. But that's because I have the arrow shooting problem. I did change the sensitivity on that, and it does work a little bit better, but it's still like really slow and weird.
It's not good.
She is the one that I use the least, though.
I don't do aim shots in combat very often anyway.
Yeah, she was the one that I was using to fight the Eye of the Storm thing, which sucked because kept losing where the enemy was and firing at nothing, and it was very hard to control.
I use Lisa a lot for that, but I use Lisa with Barbara, since she's also a catalyst user, so she's doing just straight water damage, and then Lisa's just straight lightning damage, and the water will stick on the person. They'll stay wet long enough for Lisa to get an electric reaction, and they'll stack damage on each other.
That's freaking awesome. I like that mechanic a lot. It makes me think of, like, Pokemon, you know. but I think it's really cool the way that elements react with each other.
I think this game's made enough money that they're going to start releasing more characters for free, because a lot of people are complaining, and you'll see the character come up in the story mode, Venti, the bard with the green silly costume. He has abilities that are super useful just for getting around. Like, his hold R2 is he summons a vortex under him, so you can already get like 30 feet in the air and then start floating. Or you can get 30 feet up a
Rivali's
cliff.
Gale?
Yes, exactly. Short Rivali's Gale.
I was just saying, I would love Rivali's Gale in this game.
You could if you got Venti, but he's not on the wish list right now. He was in the first banner for the wish. And I managed to get him. He's a 5-star. But enough people are saying things like, he's the first god of the game that you meet. He's in the first story quest. He's a huge part. He's useful for getting around. He's got abilities that are good for crowd control and combat. He's still not overpowered. I don't use him for DPS. He's just a good utility character. The only thing that makes me was disappointing when I got him, and once I started having enough characters to pick who I had to use, I was using the Traveler for Animo. I was using her as my wind character, and then Venti was my new wind character, and I didn't really like Geo, but I wound up switching. Once you actually get to Leeway and you get one of the Statue of the Sevens inside of Leeway, the Traveler can become Geo or Animo. So I use her as a Geo character now.
Interesting.
I'm hoping when they get new territories in here that she can adopt powers from the other gods too. I hope they keep that going.
Yeah, she's the character that I play as most, just because I got used to it initially.
Yeah, and her ability, her Windblade was super useful for getting elemental effects.
Yeah, I don't use the elements enough. I always forget about them. And then I'm just sitting there swinging my sword and then running out of stamina and hitting the button over and over again until my stamina comes back.
I was always running people towards water and using her Windblade to try to knock them in the water, and then hitting them with Lisa so they would all get electrocuted.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
See, that's just such an interesting way of combat. Makes a lot more sense. I feel like I'm doing everything hard mode because I'm just like, I'm going to use this person and not try to stack anything or any of that. Because, I don't know, I just don't think about it. I don't think about one of the main points of the game.
The game gets hard enough that it becomes important to do stuff like that, which was my... Yeah. A lot of people have been complaining the game's too easy, and I was like, the game's still interesting. And then this...
It's too easy? Play with a controller like mine.
Yeah, just play with a shitty controller.
Yeah.
This was the first time that they had an event that was too hard, I think. It's called Hypostatic Symphony, and you fight those hypostasises, but they're purer forms and they're more powerful. On top of that, when you go to the location and you go to fight one, you can choose to raise the difficulty with different effects. You can set the level of the hypostasis between easy and expert. At expert, they're level 95, and then from there, you get a multiplier, and then you have the things that you can change. So, like, locking the timer to 1 minute and 20 seconds is an option, and that's not long enough to kill a level 90 hypostasis under good conditions. And then if you wanted to make it harder, there's all sorts of buffs for them and debuffs for your party. Which I'm all for that if it's just like it's not really affecting anything, but you have to get a max score to buy to get points to get stuff off of the prize table, which is all upgrade material and gold. And I need that stuff now because I'm in the end game and that stuff's getting harder to get. And it's like if I wanted to get all of the challenge rewards, I would have to at least get a score of 2880 on each boss, which means basically fighting every boss in 1 minute and 20 seconds at level 95 with all of my characters at quarter power and the boss having 400% health and me not getting my elemental recharges fast enough. And then
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then the last phase is fighting all 3 of them one after the other. And I can't plan a party around that because I'd have to do that with just one party. It's one thing for me to bring one party to beat one hypostasis on hard, but I've decided I just don't care to do it.
Yeah.
Because you still get the Primogems just for beating it. Like, yeah, I got the premium currency just for, like, they didn't hold that over people's head, but to get all the extra stuff I want, I would have to figure out some immaculate strategies or really level the characters up really, really well. And it's got 7 days on it left, and I just don't think I'm going to do it. It's too hard.
Sounds like something I probably wouldn't do either.
Yeah, for the first time, it's too hard for me. I don't know who's actually accomplished this goal. Because it's hard.
Children, probably.
If there was one easy one, oh, and they don't stack. It's your top score. Your top score per there's seven levels, and they just add your top scores together. So you can't grind them. It's not like you can get 20,000 points by beating one of them 10 times. You got to get your top score on all of them, and I would have to get a top score of at least 2880 on all of them to get all the points. I can't replay it and get more points.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. It's too hard.
Yeah, I still don't know enough about, like, the leveling up shit. I don't know. Like, I have a bunch of stuff for leveling up, but I'm just like, I don't know if these characters should be leveled up to a point that... Because I could get it up. I could probably get all my people up to max right now, but I'm also like, do I want to save this for other characters that might come up later? Like, I don't know. And like a lot of these items and stuff too, I'm just like, I don't know. There's too much ability to level everything up. I don't know. I don't know what to do about all of that.
Leveling up a character doesn't get that hard. Sometimes it can take a few days to max out a character later game. Like, I have the ability to get, I don't know, probably 10 of my characters. How many characters do I have? Because I'm on that wish table all the time. It's going to make me count it the hard way. I can't count. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I have 20 characters.
Wow, that's 5 times more than me.
More than half of them, I think about half of them are level 70 and could go to 80. A lot of them could go to 90. So your first round leveling up, it caps out at 20, and then you have to ascend them with ascension materials, which you get by fighting bosses or going to domains and doing challenges. So you grind these out every week, and then you have to pay for the treasures with original resin, but you only get 160 of a day, but it recharges. I think if you were up for 24 hours, you would get 360 or something like that. But it's relatively expensive, and they're going to be changing that because that's the big complaint from players at this end of the game is that, like, I want to level up characters so I can take on the hard challenges, but you're, like, limiting the amount that I can level up a character and do stuff. So once you beat all the quests and stuff, you only have, like, 30 minutes of the game to play. And so you play 30 minutes a day if you want, and then you can log back in and condense your resin so it's worth more later and do tricks like that so you're getting the most out of your 30 minutes to an hour playing every day. But they're probably going to enhance the resin system to make it easier to get more, and some things just won't cost resin anymore.
Okay.
But I would level up whoever you feel comfortable using. I'll say that I still use Lisa.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
there's-
what I was gonna ask. Is are any of the first 4 characters something that I'm going to use later on?
I never used Kaya. I didn't like him. I was immediately attracted to Catalyst users, so I tried to collect just those. And that wound up not being the best strategy. I guess they're weaker, even though they do quick damage. Like they're the easiest to they pop out with their element. That seems like an obvious winner to me.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of characters that just do good damage. Kaya does really good damage. He's a good character. His
Yeah, I like
frost
using
ability's
him.
good. Yeah, and
I think it's because I liked the tutorial with him because it was way more like blatantly like you have to use this power versus like the first like the rest of them.
yeah,
Period. The rest
all
of the
them,
temples it
felt
didn't
like-
matter.
Yeah, I
You could do
ignored
whatever.
them. I ignored them
Yeah.
and just used the Traveler.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot
Yep.
of platforms that I could use Windblade and just throw people off.
Yeah. Exactly.
If I was doing it earlier, I would probably have put more investment into Kaya, because his abilities are good. They recharge quick. He can heal himself with his ability. His R2 ability later on, he gets. I don't think it's that much later. I think it's like after level 20 or something. Using Frost and Awe will
Cool.
heal 20 or. Okay, yeah. Once you get to level 20 or 30, you'll get Cold Blooded Strike if you go to his talents, which is an ability that doesn't level up. But every Frost and Awe regenerates HP that is equal to 15% of his attack.
Cool.
So that's not a lot of health, but he's freezing people and he's healing himself a little bit, so he lasts a little longer than other characters, and he's strong. He does
Yeah.
hit good. And there's a lot of good swords in the game, so you're likely to get a good sword.
Yeah, but you're still using you still use the main character, right?
I bring her out for certain situations. I stopped using her for a long time. My main party was Venti, Lisa, Barbara, and Zhang Ling. Because she was better fire damage than... I wouldn't say she was better fire damage than Amber. She was just doing straight fire. There was no timer on the explosion. Her little bear just shoots streams of fire at people, and I can run around. And she's a spear user. She does more damage faster. So she was cool. I was attracted to her immediately. And that was my main party until very recently. And now I switch up the party a lot depending on what kind of boss I have to fight. But
Gotcha.
yeah, the Traveler's always good. Her abilities are really good. Her Geo ability drops a big stone pillar in the middle of the room. And it can drop on top of enemies. And it'll drop Geo Crystals, which gives you a shield. And you can also run around the pillar and use it for crowd control. So you can filter enemies and make it easier to stay alive. Also, characters like Lisa, the Catalyst people, their abilities shoot through walls and objects. So if you drop a pillar and run behind it, you can still hit people with lightning from a safe spot.
Dope.
Yeah, so she's always useful. But at some point, you wind up needing, especially if you go to the Spiral Abyss, like the main difficult tiered level of the game, it requires you to have 2 parties in the last 3 chambers. So you wind up needing 8 people. But I've gone other places for ice. I've got Chong Yun, which came off of the small table, and he's a Claymore ice wielder, but his special ability is he smacks the ground, and it creates a circle where everybody who does melee damage inside of the circle has ice on their weapon. So I can like pop him down and then use Chang Ling's spear as an ice weapon while I have her little bear do fire damage. And then I can switch back and forth real quick between her and Lisa to get ice, fire, and lightning all at the same time, and people are just kind of blowing up frozen. It's pretty cool.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I've just been putting off leveling everybody. So I guess I'll just do that then. Because I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know what the... Like, I have a lot of this stuff to level up, but I don't know how easy it is to find. So...
It's there. They're in fixed positions. You can grind them every day. I just got a new character yesterday, and if I wanted to get her to level 60 today, I probably could.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you run them. It might take a few days to get... If you wind up with a new character, it's kind of like, shit, I've got to grind this out, but It's not a big deal. There's just characters that I probably would have invested in more early on. I would have invested in Kaya more earlier because I took a lot of fights where ice would have been useful, and I didn't have a good ice guy.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that Geo could be a good element, so when I got Noelle, I probably would have put more into her because she'll basically, she doesn't do the most damage, but she's constantly making shields and healing herself. So she can like stay alive until the timer runs out basically every big fight. She's just impossible to kill once you level her up. So she'll get your party through there.
Nice.
So like frying an egg will revive a member, but you can only revive a party member once every 300 seconds. So if somebody goes down, you can just switch to Noelle and stay alive for a while.
Did you say frying an egg?
Yes, at some point one of the recipes you'll get from a quest is the Tevat fried egg. And it revives a party member and gives them 100 HP.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the recipes
dope.
get really good.
Yeah,
I've got some really...
didn't expect that.
Yeah, delicious Tevat fried egg revives. A delicious steak revives. There's some skewers that revive.
Nice. I should look at the food that I've made, because I've made a lot of food.
Yeah, get recipes, buy recipes. They all do different things. I've got recipes for increasing crit damage and party defense. One thing I didn't use until the last expansion when the Ice World came out, and I was really pissed at fighting the giant ice boss because I kept getting frozen too much, was once you learn how to do alchemy, I didn't do a potion until like 2 weeks ago. And the potions can actually be pretty useful. You can get potions against an element.
Man, this game has so many... That's the thing that it's freaking intimidating whenever I'm playing and suddenly I look and it's like, oh, there are exclamation points on all over this screen. So then you go to the menu and it's just like, there are so many things to look at here. It's one of the reasons with the leveling thing, it's like, and then they're all carrying up to 5 items that do different things.
That you can
who
level.
do I want to have the best? Who do I want to have the best one? You know, that kind of situation. And it's just, there's so much to that. And now I'm learning that there's also potions and that food does even crazier stuff than I thought. Huh.
Yeah, the resources, everything that drops in the game is a resource that you need to upgrade a weapon or a player.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Weapons, man. It took me so long to figure out what the deal was with that. And I'm also just like... So I'm picking up ore, like, all over the place, constantly. And it's just... and the fact that there's only one other game that I've played that's like, we have all these weapons that you can, you know, basically break down into different things and make other weapons more powerful and all that stuff. And that was Hyrule Warriors. They did that stuff because you're collecting weapons all over the place and then you use them to make other weapons more powerful. And it's like, there's so much to this. I don't know what's good here. I don't know what's like worth keeping. I don't know if I'm going to have a character around the corner that's going to be able to use this thing better than whatever the fuck if I was to break it down. I don't know.
I would definitely say keep 6 halberds. Because the refinement thing, you sacrifice 1 weapon to get it maxed out. The max refinement rank is 5. And halberd's really strong if you wind up with a polearm user. As far as the level 3 weapons, there's not that many very good. And level 4 weapons drop pretty frequently once you start doing wishes. Like I've got a weapon.
Okay.
I've got a level 4 weapon for basically everybody. And there's some level 4 weapons that you get from quests, thankfully.
I think I got 1 level 4 weapon, maybe. I feel like I'm remembering that and being like, man, I wish these other guys had stuff that good.
You should get the Sword of Dissension as a quest item, I think. And it's got a bonus if the Traveler's using it.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. I mean, you're probably right. I don't know if I've seen it or not.
I don't know where I got it from. Maybe it was a wish. Yeah, there's some good. I would just look up best 3-star weapons or put in your character and search for the best builds. But as far as the best build, I mean, they're gonna make recommendations for their artifacts too, and I don't even have the artifact thing figured out. It's too hard to get Like I don't want to give a character I'm serious about a 3-star artifact, but there's not that many 5-star artifacts, and you gotta kill big things to grind them. And you probably won't get a 5-star artifact for a long time because you have to get every time that you level up your world rank, you also get more things dropped from bosses. So I'm rank 7, and most of the time I'll get a 5-star drop if that guy drops artifacts. But it is a lot to keep up with. That was my main complaint about the game, is that like what the domains give you changes every day. So some days you can't grind things that you want. One of the things that I didn't realize was a thing until like most of my characters were level 50 or 60 was that you can upgrade the talents. If you go to the talents tab, they also have consumable material to make themselves stronger. And that
I think I found that.
That shit's probably one of the better things that you can upgrade, and those materials are hard to come by. The books of knowledge are harder to get. You have to get them from domains, and you have to spend resin to get them. Whack.
Yeah.
And you can only get them on certain days.
Well, that sucks. Like, I like the idea of games being very, like, you could play it a specific way, you can build your characters differently and stuff like that. You know, RPG stuff. But I do feel like there's kind of a limit where, like, you know, some people, I don't know. I think it could just be me, but it's like, even in, like, Magic the Gathering, like, the way that John builds decks, like, I could never, like, that's, like, completely beyond me. It's not a style I would even think of in any way, shape, or form, where it's like, here are a bunch of different, like, effect shit that stacks on top of each other, and I'm like 10 steps ahead of this other person because of this, like, the rule exploit thing. Like, that's what this feels like in Genshin Impact to me. Like, it just feels like there's so many things, like, you can build a character perfectly if you get all this stuff, but chances are you're not gonna.
No, you're not. Yeah, that's just the thing. It winds up becoming like grinding out materials to upgrade the best stuff that you already have.
Yeah.
The artifact one is the stupidest one because you don't get enough. Like, you have to consume artifacts to upgrade the other artifacts, and they don't drop that often, so they're not easy to grind. And it just seems like it takes so long, and I wasted a lot of artifacts just trying to get primo gems from achievements, because there was in your adventure handbook, there's those chapters that offer rewards, and there's only 9 chapters, and I did do them all, but on one of them was like equip somebody with 5-star artifacts of level 20, and that took so much resources to do.
Jesus.
Yeah, but I did it. Zhengli has a 100% 5-star fully maxed out gladiator kit, and it's doing a lot for her. It's really a big boon. I could pull up, if you go to the artifacts tab and then, or you go to your character, you go to artifacts, you look at the right, it'll tell you what it's boosting her.
Yeah.
It's just from the base stats, it's giving her plus 7,700 HP, plus 1,000 attack, plus 300 defense, plus 42 elemental mastery, because this build is supposed to be focused on attack bonus, and then the set bonus is giving her plus 18% attack, and then the second set bonus, the 4-piece bonus, is if the wielder of this artifact set uses a sword, claymore, or polearm, increase their damage of normal attack by 35%. So she's getting a lot from that.
That is, like, insane.
Yeah, her total after all the artifacts is 16,500 HP, 1,700 attack, almost 900 defense, 315 elemental mastery, and her stamina is 240, which is set by your upgrading the statues.
Yeah, I've done a couple of those. I haven't got to the point where they're, like, fully done or whatever, but you know, I've given them those spirit orbs, so
That becomes a really annoying quest because I did max out the statues for both regions, and I had to Google frequently changing charts where all the orbs were, and that it just took forever.
Dang.
But you have to do it in Leeway to unlock a hidden quest where you fight a really cracked out Ruin Guard to get an item for a quest. And that fight, I almost ignored that fight. That fight was so hard. He's a giant Ruin Guard in there, one of the floating ones. So there's Ruin. I guess he's a Ruin Hunter. The Ruin Guards are the ones that walk. The Ruin Guards are the ones that float. And then he's also guarded by like Whopper flowers that give him elemental. Or no, he's guarded by Sand Slashes. They're a geo thing that roll around and are a giant pain in the ass, but they also drop shield shards.
Sand Slashes?
Yeah, they have a real name, but they're fucking. I swear to God, they put Sand Slashes in this game. They're in they're in the boss list. Look up what the hell that's called so you can Google it because they're pretty cool. But they're kind of funny because they appear on the screen and they always render before trees, so you see them render way the hell before you can even fight them. And they don't load a full 24 frames a cycle animation, so they're all moving at 3 frames at a time. It's pretty funny. They're called Geo Vijap hatchlings. So Geo VI shape hatchlings, and they're just Sand Slashes.
All right, I look forward to seeing them.
Yeah, they're a pain in the ass, and sometimes they come in groups, and they're very hateful. But you gotta kill them to get bone shards so that you can upgrade certain people.
Nice. Can't wait to actually get into this game.
Yeah, I want to say more things about Genshin
I've
Impact.
played 7 hours of it so far, and I just feel like I haven't done anything.
Your Adventurer's Handbook will track bosses too. If you go in there and click on one, it'll show you where they are. So I can go and find a hatchling right now if I really wanted to, but I don't want to because I hate them.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to have to look at that more. I looked at it a very little bit when I got it. And then I was like, okay, now I'm going to go wander into the woods and maybe I'll get my adventure rank to 10 so I can do some stuff.
Yeah, none of the stuff I'm talking about probably even matters until your adventure rank is level 25 is, I think, when you leave the main quest, 25 or 30.
Damn.
And then you start getting the whole open world and go to Leeway. Yeah. So you don't have to worry about all that stuff for a long time, but I'm adventure rank 50. I'm about to turn 51.
Damn, son.
I know, I play this game too much. Right now, the highest level online, if I just go to the co-op mode, I can see there's a level 54 on.
Yeah, at this point, I'm worried that I'll never finish this game.
Nobody will ever finish the game. That's the point.
I mean, I will never get to, like, any kind of stopping place.
No, there'll always be more characters, there'll always be more content. They're not even done adding all the regions in. There's going to be a region for every element. And Dragonspine was not...
I don't even know how many elements there are.
There's supposed to be 7, but there's no Dendro characters yet. There's Dendro slimes that do nature damage, I guess, but there's your wind, water, ice, fire, earth, and Dendro. So I guess there's 6.
Okay.
Is there only 6? I feel like there was supposed to be 7. No. Yeah, there's 6.
Okay. Until they start adding more types.
I'll look forward to that. Why not? They've made more than fucking any other game right now. They're like fucking $5 billion up or whatever the fuck crazy number off of this shit. Yeah, once everybody
it's a good
saw
game, man.
Yeah, once everybody saw that saw Fortnite could be a competent first-person shooter people enjoy playing, and not suck and be free and make a ton of money. I guess that's when they started working on like, oh, we could totally make a Legend of Zelda. We could totally make a Breath of the Wild that never ends.
Yeah, and that's dope. I'm just saying, like, I feel like it's gonna take so long for me to get to, like, you know, the bigger stuff of this game because I literally Only I set aside just a few hours a week to play it.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while. Because leeway's twice as big as Mondstadt, and you're not out of Mondstadt yet.
Yeah. I sure am not.
Mondstadt's pretty.
Yeah, I like it. It's, you know, at first I thought that there was only really one kind of enemy for quite some time, actually, because I was only running into slimes. And it wasn't until, like, last weekend when I was playing that I finally ran into some stuff that was very different. Like, I mean, slimes and the bokoblins, basically. Yeah. The weird, thin bokoblins.
Hilichurls.
Yeah. I don't like churl.
It's
Like,
churlish.
Exactly. It just feels weird to say.
Yeah,
yeah.
seeing an Eye of the Storm the first time was really cool.
Yeah, that was, I think, one of the first things that I saw that was different. That, and then there was those flower things. And then whatever chased me. I don't even know. It chased me for a long time, though. And these fuckers are fast. Why are they so fast?
Probably, was it like just a giant churl?
I don't know. I didn't see it.
A churl chieftain. Usually you can outrun them because if you go far enough, and this is one thing that pisses me off, if you go far enough fighting something, they'll just act like you're not there, go back to full health, and walk back to spawn.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest problems I had with those flowers.
Yep, that'll happen. I've been stuck in that places with the giant rune guards on Death Spine. It's a mountain. There's not that many places for me to go, and I've got to run so that this thing doesn't fucking kill me in 2 hits, and it's cold, and I'm freezing to death. And I got to go find torches to stand by, or I will freeze to death. And I walk too far to get to a torch, and they're just like, oh, we're done? I'm going to go sit until you come back, and I'll be at full health when you do.
Yeah, unfortunate.
That should be enough talking about Genshin Impact, because
Yeah, that was like a full Genshin Impact podcast.
I see that they've put another event quest in today called Marvelous Merchandise, but I think that's basically a glorified fetch quest. They've done that before. Look forward to it.
Okay. And as for the wish thing, is it worth doing like this early?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth doing daily because you can. I mean, you can always hoard your wishes. I don't think there's a limit to how many wishes you can hold. You get the Intertwined Fate and the Acquainted Fate. The Intertwined Fate is for the event card, which will have whatever characters are increased to drop that month. And then there's the Wanderlust Evocation card, which is always just your standard wish. And several things could drop there frequently. The chance of a 4-star or better drop is lower. But, you know, they're different resources. And you can get Acquainted Fate from a few things. If you go to the shop, there's different ways to spend. That's one of the things that pissed me off when I started. There's like 3 premium currencies. 2 of them you earn in-game, and then one of them is the Primo Gems, which you can get from some quests and shit. But yeah, I do wishes often. Last month I did the $5 a month for the what's it called? Because I got it in front of me. Blessings of the Welkin Moon. It gives you 90 Prima Gems a day. And then doing all your daily quests and getting the daily quest bonus is another 60s. And you need 160 Prima Gems to make a wish. So every 2 days I make a wish. Depending on how many chests I can find. If I go do that and go find 5 chests, I can get wishes. But you also get Prima Gems from getting all the waypoints and things like that. So early in the game, it ranks up pretty fast. I think the first time I did a wish, I did like 1,000 of them.
Huh. Yeah, I was just kind of intimidated by it, so I decided I'll just not do that for a while. I don't know enough about it. But I guess I'll explore it tomorrow whenever I play again.
The way I see it is that there's always ways to get Prima Gems, and now that the game has made so much money, they kind of don't care what happens with their future. There's always events to get more gems, so you're always going to be able to make many, many wishes a month. I think
Okay.
the last 3 months I've always been able to make at least 50 wishes.
Damn.
But that's, I'm busting ass to do it.
Yeah.
If I was gonna be slower about it, I would be like, all right, whatever the character card is, if there's a character I really want on there, I'll drop a lot. If not, I'll save it. The only benefit to doing it kind of haplessly like I do is that the more characters you get, the more elements you'll get.
Yeah.
And right now you only have 4 of the 6 elements.
Which
and
water would be useful.
yeah, if you could get Barbara, I would always recommend Barbara because she heals the party, and she does water, and she also has some other quirky things like if you attack a townsperson, instead of them flinching in fear, since she's a performer, she like dances while she throws water, and everybody claps for you, and that's adorable.
All right.
Yeah, so definitely, if Barbara comes up, I would definitely dump wishes into Barbara. I think on the event right now is Ganyu, an ice archer, whatever the water swords boy is, Shangling, the fire polearm, and then Noel, that Geo claymore. I'm not super excited by this card.
Yeah, I know absolutely nothing about any of them, so I'll just do it all random.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. You'll get more Prima Gems later. YOLO.
YOLO. But that's all I got.
I think I already said my other video game thing. I'm grinding levels in the emulators to get good at certain events. Oh yeah, I did. I can beat Yellow Devil now, which was the big accomplishment.
Yeah.
What else can I do while I stall and turn on this base?